Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here. It's your monthly Everything That's Closed video. This month we have 10 different attractions that will be closed during the month of January. And at the end of today's video, I have some very important operational hours information for you so you can make the most of your next trip out to Disneyland, planning ahead, knowing what's going to be open and what's going to be closing. Today we have Astro Orbitor, which went down November 27th, and as you can see, they have deconstructed it and moved it off-site. It's probably because it's one of the most inconvenient located attractions inside of Disneyland, blocking the main entryway into Tomorrowland, making people decide left or right. And as you know, people have a hard time making that simple decision of left or right. I also feel that it's in such a tight corridor at the main entryway of Tomorrowland that the main way that they can repair it is to deconstruct it, take it off-site, do the work they need to do, versus having a crew right in the entryway to Tomorrowland. However, I can assure you they are not completely removing the attraction, as many guests have said when they've walked by being like, oh my God, they're removing that. It will be back. They have done this before. Although this will be a quick, easy rip ride that will be removed from your next visit, it will make your flow in and out of Tomorrowland a little bit easier, which isn't that important right now because there's really no parades and only Mickey's Mixed Magic most evenings, so there's not really that desire to have to get in and out of the hub. So yes, we are officially into January where things get a little weird. If this happens to be your favorite attraction, there is no word on when it will reopen. It is not scheduled to reopen at all in the month of January, so keep that one in mind. We'll update you again in February when more of the calendar becomes available to us. On to our second location. For the duration of January, the Mark Twain will continue to be down for what is a very, very extensive rehab on this amazing opening day attraction. They have gone from it from the top to the bottom, replacing a lot of the wood, putting in new windows, painting it. It's gonna basically be like a brand new boat when it pulls back out sometime in early February. And to celebrate my favorite attraction, my next Disneyland stunt will be Mark versus Mark. And no, I'm not gonna ride it all day. I have something way more creative planned. Stay tuned for the announcement on Mark versus Mark and how you can follow along on one of my creative and fun live streams. Regardless of my own personal stupidity that I'm so proud of, the Mark Twain down for the rest of this month. And also we have other news about closures, not only in this area of the park, but also on the rivers of America. The western end of Disneyland, I think, is the greatest stretch of the park, and it has the most amount of movement taking place in it for the month of January. So I'm sure by now, unless you live underneath a Disneyland rock, you know that Splash Mountain will be down until the end of this year. Somewhere around November is when I heard a projected opening date, but I wouldn't say that that's set in stone. You can see that they're still working on the removal process, and we're just getting ready to start the re-sculpting process around it, where they're getting ready to start actually building instead of subtracting. But speaking of subtracting, with this attraction being down and another major closure that's coming up real soon, this area through here is going to be a significantly dead part of the park. And starting on January 7th, running to the 19th, the Blue Bayou will be going down for a annual sort of refresh. It'll be interesting to see if the menu changes at all, but this is one of the most desirable places to eat inside of Disneyland, as it's the only place that you can eat in the entire resort where you're inside of an attraction watching Pirates of the Caribbean go by. This one going away also removes another favorite place where people can drink inside of Disneyland. So a couple of big things going away when the Blue Bayou goes away from January 7th to the 18th. Well, friends, it's officially that time when Christmas looks like old food that you need to scrape off the plate and throw away. And I know that's harsh, but trust me, nobody loves the holidays as much as me, but we have reached that impasse. January 8th, It's a Small World will go down. It will stay down for 11 days to do its transformation from the holidays into the classic 1964 version of It's a Small World. However, keep in mind when they do Mickey's Mix Magic, we'll probably be down to just 2 locations. Sleeping Beauty's Castle and the Rivers of America. They will not be doing projections over here when they are in the process of transforming back into the regular version. And there's another thing that's closing just right across the way, but this one's going down forever. But It's a Small World being taken off the board for 11 days does create a hole for family rides that take a decent amount of time. And rumor has, when they shut it down, they're gonna scrub it extra clean this year because, you know, it got a little contaminated. On January 7th, we will see Tale of the Lion King close down. But this is not a temporary closure. This one is for good, meaning that the Fantasyland Theater will have nothing happening in it after January 7th for the rest of this month. And also, Troubadour Tavern will be closed if the Fantasyland Theater is closed. But Tale of the Lion King, hope you got to see it. Really fun and imaginative show. And keep in mind, this was the first thing to show up and take a residence inside of the Fantasyland Theater since the closure of 2020. Now there is a rumor that Rogers, the musical, is coming back over at the Hyperion, but until that comes true, there are now no longer any shows, and that gets a big thumbs down. Another closure taking place on January 8th is more activity over on the Rivers of America. We will see the sailing ship Columbia go down from the 8th to the 11th. Just a minor refurbishment, but keep in mind, during this time period, the Mark Twain will also be down. So therefore, no way to circumvent the Rivers of America, because I also don't believe that canoes will be open during the weekdays during this off season. So if you're a big Rivers of America fan, no way to get around it other than to walk it. There is absolutely nothing opening or closing inside of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but I love it, and I always need an excuse to walk through it. So how about this excuse? Let's make this a great moment in today's video for you to subscribe to Hey Brickey, where I bring you 3 quality Disneyland videos each and every week, and I can't do it without you. Hope you're enjoying this video where I'm showing you everything that's closed this month, giving you a little historical context, a little bit of context of how the park will operate with these changes, and hopefully empowering you for the information you need to make your next trip to Disneyland the best one yet. But thank you so much for subscribing to Hey Brickey. I cannot do it without you, and I appreciate you being here. As much as I appreciate Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, my favorite land other than Main Street, because Main Street, that's Walt's land.
Me? I would never take a bounty on you. Yeah, we're gonna walk this one. Oh my god.
I mean, come on. Mando rolling with R2? What a collab. I love it. Oh, that's great. Even though this series is about everything that's closing inside of Disneyland for the month to help you better plan, I try to bring some of that Disney magic when I encounter it, all while I'm filming it. And it's always there, you just gotta look for it. I'm filming today's video on New Year's Day because I couldn't wait to get back to work. This is the lines that get inside of DCA. It is absolutely slammed and it's not moving. I'm gonna assume that the computer system's down. So let me give you 3 more quick closures, but we'll do these at home in the studio because there is no reason for me to get in that line when I have archival footage of all of these attractions, and we can do it from the comfort of home. That is insane. And today is a very expensive ticket. That would bum me out so much if I showed up to a line that big that's not moving to get inside of DCA. Wow. Grizzly River Run will be going down January 8th. We don't know when it's going to open back up, but it won't be inside the month of January. Not a big deal that this one's going down because typically this time of year, this is a 5-minute wait time ride. And another closure on January 8th when World of Color will go down, as well as Paradise Gardens Park. The transformation to get World of Color away from World of Color holidays, where they have all those gift boxes that are wrapped all around Paradise Gardens, where those floating hearts take off. I've tried to figure out how do those hearts float away the way that they do, but we'll just chalk that up for some Disney magic. But World of Color will be down on January 8th, making that week extra interesting, where there will really be hardly any shows at all. Nothing at the Hyperion Theater. Tale of the Lion King will have just gone down. No parades inside of Disneyland. Shorter hours for those days. That's really a time of year where if you're buying a ticket, buyer beware, because you're not getting the full Disney experience. But for locals, maybe a good time to come in and just enjoy taking laps in a quieter, more subdued version of the Disneyland Resort. Another spinner ride will be going down on January 22nd when the Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind will close. With this being down and Astro Orbiter, those are two easy to get on and get off rides for the younger citizens of Disneyland. Two of those being out during the exact same time will shorten the amount of rides that the youngsters can get onto in both of these parks. Sorry I couldn't go inside of DCA this week. When we look at these lines outside, it's absolutely outrageous how many people are there. And as we look through the gate, the lines are just not moving. You gotta love everything being on a computer system, because we all know computers do crash. Let's head back inside of Disneyland and keep looking at our other closures this month on our Everything That's Closed for the month of January video. If you're enjoying this, please do me a favor right now, give the video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you can catch these each and every start of the month, so you have a good idea on how to make the most of your next visit out to Disneyland. All right, the most dreaded shutdown of January and probably this year at the Disneyland Resort is going to be the Haunted Mansion, which goes down January 22nd, and as of right now we have no idea when it reopens. Now, the mansion always goes down for its transformation from the Nightmare Before Christmas holiday overlay into the traditional version, but this year there's two construction projects. That's four. There's two construction projects, one flanking the entryway and one flanking the exit. These projects, making it entirely complicated for people to get inside and outside of the attraction, creates a huge question mark on how long will the mansion be down for 2024. All right, friends, as promised, a couple of updates to the Disneyland schedule to keep in mind for the month of January. Whether you're booking a trip to come out here or you're a local, the park will be the same on Fridays and Saturdays, staying open to midnight with DCA closing at 10. However, most Sundays, Disneyland will close at 11 and DCA will close at 9. And then most Mondays through Thursday, Disneyland will close at 10 and DCA will close at 9, except for MLK Day, which will see Disneyland stay open till, I believe, 11 that Monday. And then something really to pay attention to, Tuesday, January 23rd, Thursday, January 25th, and then again, Tuesday, January 30th, Disneyland will close at 8. For an after dark event, and DCA will be closing at 9. So you'll have no park to go to if you're in from out of town or if you're a local that comes down for the evening. Most of the time you can at least go over into Disneyland if Oogie Boogie is shutting down DCA early, but this time around you will have no park to go to because they both will be closing very, very early. And this year we have seen Disney give the biggest forecasts of after-hour events so guests can plan ahead, but keep in mind that last week and last days of January, Disneyland will close very, very early. So could be a good gamble to come out to a day that might not be that busy, because who's going to buy a full price ticket for an abbreviated day? But then again, I've seen tons of people that come on those days that have no idea that the park closes early and are not too happy about it. So there you go, friends. There's everything that's closing for the month of January at the Disneyland Resort. 10 attractions, one show, and some different hours as we're in officially the slow season of the year. Do with this information what you may. I hope, though, that it helps you plan a better and efficient trip out to Disneyland, and your next trip is your best trip yet. And if you want more information about the Haunted Mansion's transformation and its closure, make sure you check out this video right here, where I fully break down what this transformation will mean for the Haunted Mansion, for New Orleans Square, and for Disneyland in 2024.